introducing Dr. Tayo Emmanuel. He's the founder of FDSF. He's also the general overseer God's Roman Assembly Worldwide, as well as GRA Mission Squad. So without further introduction, I would love to welcome everyone to Dr. Tayo Emmanuel.
I want to give God praise and thank God for very good time. I want to just appreciate everybody that has called in. I want to thank God. I've been kind of dropping into the some of the discussion, and I want us to also just thank God that we can be able to be a part of it. I thank God for everybody that's called in, all of our friends and those who really feel a little concerned. I want us to understand that we have some of these children who are in colleges who are very, very, very tensed and let me say disturbed because of what they've witnessed and the fear of maybe what's going to happen to them in the future. But let me tell you where we stand, and I'm going to read these, and I have some of my things I want to say to wrap this thing up. And before I turn it over, I don't want to be here and there. Let me also just let us know we've already started with prayer. We know God is here with us. We, of no doubt, we are all in global crisis, reeling from another glaring injustice, the senseless loss of another Black life, and the legacy of unaddressed structural and systematic racism. And we know that the death of George Floyd has amplified awareness of and action against institutional racism in cities across Europe and in the States. Racism and racial injustice are unacceptable. That's where we stand. And by identifying, challenging, and changing the values, structures, and behaviors that perpetuate systemic racism, each one of us can do our part to eliminate racism and commit to leadership that fosters a society where everybody can flourish. And this drives how we walk through bringing together individuals from across the distance and different viewpoints and sectors that we have today. And we are pursuing this through a commitment to inclusive and diverse global membership and diverse community where all voices, whether you're young, whether you're an adult, whether you're whatever your background, color, all voices are heard and embraced. And this commitment to humanity, which is a respect of the dignity of every person, represent our deepest beliefs and highest aspirations regarding everything we do and how we strive to engage this world. Across the world, every Black life matters. Across the globe, everyone must step up to make a difference for a better world for all. And that's why we call for all our leaders, in which stratum they might be, to engage the Bible in thoughtful and responsible ways. The Bible should not be brandished as a weapon to attack humanity or to regulate the dignity of human spirit. Commit to the work of studying and exposing how the Bible has been and continues to be used in this way. So we believe the peaceful demonstrations that we have witnessed have resulted into, we've seen that it has resulted into riots that have taken lives and ruined livelihoods. But I've had so much inferences and brilliant contributions, very, very, very staggering. Don't let's forget what Martin Luther said. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do it. Hate cannot drive out hate, but love. We must not forget about that. So, how do you explain policing in a in a kind of a black community because um, when you see a police in a black community, you see intimidation, you see fear, you see somebody running for their lives. But when you see police, that's what I observe. I might be wrong. When you see police in the white community, you see protection, you see embrace, you see love. And so that's why it's important for us to analyze all this and also see the area of involvement. I thank God for Principal Scott, some of the things he said, Daniela, everybody, the brothers from London, everybody, you know. So, and I don't know, maybe we're going to really get here and there thoughts because when the rules are the same for everybody, blacks are very successful because the rules are the same. So how do we know that? Well, they are very successful in sports, successful in even in education when the rules are the same. They're very successful in basketball, successful in different kind of things in Hollywood, in entertainment, when the rules are the same. Baseball, football. But when the rules are not the same in different community, like education, it's not, what we provide in different community, it's not on the same, it's not leveled, it's not on the same platform. Then there's no success for the blacks. So we need to look into that. And another thing I want you to think about is this, which is very, very important, is why are we doing what we're doing? How can we contribute? Where do we go from here? We must not lose that focus. Where are we going to go from here? And somebody had said that if I was there, I can't stand that. I can't stand that. I don't see that happening. So I want to ask myself, then who is the human? Who is the animal? It's a question that I want to ask myself. We've lost it somewhere. Are we trying to change something that was built on this? Because it was built on this. We were told a few things about the founders of America. One of them is Christopher Columbus. Beautiful story. You go to history.com, you can get that. He's the one who discovered this country, sailing across the Atlantic in 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. And there's no doubt Columbus' voyages had an undeniable historical imprint. We know that, sparking the great age of Atlantic exploration, trade, and eventually colonization by the Europeans. But nobody tells us what happened in this voyage through the Caribbean islands and the Central and the South American coast. History.com says he came upon indigenous people and he labeled them Indians. And his men with himself, they enslaved many of these native people and treated them with extreme violence and brutality. And it was, you watch the movies, it was terrible. It was terrible. I'm talking about the foundation of what we are all looking at. It's the foundation. And if you believe in the Bible, when the foundation is not in shape, so any other thing we're doing is to try to cut it from the leaves. And now we're making an attempt, because not to talk means you're part of them. We're making an attempt. But I'm just telling you that the foundation is messy. It's really rough. I was thinking that, man, I'm telling you, and there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Oh, Christian foundation, oh, equity, justice, and everything. You go there in America, everything is just, rule of law and everything. I mean, that's, but from what I've seen, and it's not changing my mind, thank God for where Danielle came in. I love that contribution. I'm really going to just, emphasize on that. I'm not changing my thought. I'm not changing. America is a great nation. It's been a blessing, to a whole lot of people. But these little elements in there, there's no perfect system. There's no perfect structure. But this that has been there for a long time, I want us to trace where it came from. I want to trace where it came from because I don't want to be in class like Yams was speaking, and then it's Black History Month, and we have children who are just 2 or 3 who are blacks in the class, and you're showing all those brutality and all those past experience. How do you want those guys to feel? Drew said, the young man, he said, if you've never been there, you don't know how people feel. It's touching. There are videos I can watch. Something happened not too long ago where a young man was saying, please, I can't breathe. And the police, maybe in Oklahoma, say, I don't care. The guy died. I don't care about your life. So that's an issue. We were told that throughout Columbus years, he forced natives to work for the sake of profits. He sent thousands to Spain to be sold. Many of them died during the journey. Foundation. The natives who weren't sold into slavery were forced to look for gold in mines and work on plantation. Foundation. And they were told that while he was governor in the Dominican Republic, he killed many natives in response to their revolt. According to history.com, it's all there. And to prevent further rebellion, we were told he would have the dead bodies paraded through the streets. He even brought diseases. Indigenous society of the Americas were decimated by exposure to old world diseases. This is not for us to open up a wound or scar. I'm talking about the foundation. See, this is not about Black Lives Matter as a terrorist organization. I'm talking about when you hit the neck, when you get the max, and when you hit the wall, you don't know where to go anymore. You hit the max. You hit the max. There is nowhere to go. Now, let me say this before I continue. One, somebody has said, I will jump in. I personally think you shouldn't jump in. I don't want to be a part of the statistics because there's so many things we cover up that we don't really know the truth, except for the technology that we have today. So a lot of things have really happened in the past when we don't have this technology to document things. If not for the advancement in technology, I mean, this wouldn't have been. So you take note of that. I think calling 911 from your phone or everybody that gathered there, I think that's a good thing. You know, like calling the supervisor, telling them what's happening. Within the next 8 minutes, you know, maybe some miracle will happen. Like our brother was talking about you going to the store and don't put your hands in the pocket. That's not freedom. That's you just surviving. We can add that to what Daniel said. You know, one thing, God is going to take care of you, but this is what we have right now, folks. Until we overhaul all this system from the foundation, this is what we have right now. Live and let live. You have to just survive with it. You can't just prove a point because we need to know why we're doing what we're doing. You go in there with hoodie, nothing has changed. Thank God for modeling. You don't want to be a trend until everything changes. Let me tell you when everything will change. When everything will change. When Jesus comes. I thank God for, because you see, we are focusing on in this part of the world on racism. We're not looking at some other nations where we have tribalism, where we have religious bigotry and terrorism and all. I mean, we are in the midst of pandemic. Pastor Sarah started with that, and then this is another great one that's really very bewildering. So we need to begin to listen to each other, and we all need to be in a learning mode and be willing to explore ways that we can make to effect changes, a gradual change. And thank God this is not just about the blacks or whatever. Everybody's coming together because it's a new generation. It's a new generation. Everybody's coming together. So that's one thing I want us to really focus on, so that we need to ensure that we have a culture in which we can have an ongoing, even though difficult dialogues, where everyone's voice will be heard, where we can maintain a standard that racism in any form, including microaggressive racism, no matter how small it is not acceptable. It's not. And the church has a lot of part to play, because the church has a responsibility, they have an obligation, and they have a calling to respond to this if we can come together. Christians and non-Christians as well. We have a tendency to look away, like the parable of the Good Samaritan. We can all look away as if nothing is going on, but we shouldn't. This is not just about white people. It's not just about brown people. It's not about poor people. It's not about people in cages or in border. Anything that gets ugly that we don't want to deal with, we always look away. We can't. We can't look away. I can come here and say, okay, well, it's not my problem. I'm just one of the diaspora people. And well, anything. It touches my heart. This is human. My children are asking me questions that are very difficult to answer. I don't want them to see, and this is it. The generation that are watching us right now, I'm talking about 2 years old, 4 years old, 8 years old. What seed have we sown into their heart? All the historical notions that we are trying to teaching and enforcing and putting into our curriculum in school, what impact is it having on them? Like the ambassador was saying, I'm watching this thing. I'm in class, and I go to a predominantly white school, and they're showing, the way they kill somebody, they release a dog to really maim and teach a black man. How do you want the black in that classroom? How do you want them to feel after that? I like you to say that. And these are children, 6 years old. They are 10 years old. They are 12 years old. They are children. Is that going to really begin to nurse enmity or a sign of inequality within them? And they're just young? Because I thought that what we are seeing today happened in the past. How did we now nurse it and feed it and make sure we give it a lot of food and meal and protein, and the thing now grow big and massive and more terrible like we used to have? And as I'm talking right now, are we not all pretending and sitting on a bum thinking everything is all right? But I don't think violence is the answer. History has taught us that violence is not the cure. And Dr. King said, he was the one who led the nonviolent movement. It is not the atrocities, nor the wickedness of evil men that is most appalling. It is in the fact, the silence of the good man. Those who are just silent, who will say nothing about it. So it's something I want all of us to really think about. We are committed to being an anti-racist and to taking a stand against injustice wherever we find it. But our actions require all of us, no matter where you come, no matter your color, no matter your upbringing, so that we can fully include and support men of color. We need to work together to make sure that we have much needed progress to go forward in our future. I got some questions. I don't know if for your thoughts. How does the current conversation about racism and systemic inequity make you think about your place in resolving the issues that our country is presently facing? I don't know how we can deal with that. Now, from a Christian perspective, Daniel has really spoken well, and that doesn't need too much addition in the fact that, one thing, you can do it. You can have it. You can succeed. You can survive. God being on your side. Let me say this, please. Let me say this. Don't let's try to want to deal with the things that Jesus himself, our Lord and Savior, already prophesied will happen in the last days. So we must not forget that. We're going to see a whole lot of things like these, which is a pointer to the fact that Jesus is coming soon. It might make us to want to kind of lose focus or lose direction. Because if we're going to see this as a sign of the last days, are we all gathered here to change it? Is that the purpose why we gather? Or we want to see how we can ride out the storm and make it in the future so we can affect legislation and vote? And this is not about just putting my boy there or putting my man there. It's about putting something there that God will use to change things, at least while we're here, to favor God's children. So that might be something that maybe some of us will get wrong in terms of, the goal and the purposes of our speaking out, or maybe the riot. Yes, we need to express all that. We need to catch attention, but until somebody like us, a king's folk, who feel what you feel, who's been there, who will represent you, who has gotten through the pain, can literally be in the helms of the affairs of the decision of our nation. And please, this is not just limited to the United States. We need to know that. This is not just limited to the United States. There are things going on in different kind of countries. I mean, we have things going on in Australia, where the Aborigines, are just, they are being, discriminated against, and France, things are going on in France. I got some report here about how things are not, even in England. The brother was talking about things going on there. I overheard my wife talking about the fact that I was at a store, and we're in Europe, and it was entirely, white and everything. I was the only black there, and the white guy at the door who was securing told me the store is closed. Well, thank you. I went out. Suddenly, I saw almost about 4 or 5 people white, and they entered the same store. You didn't see the store was closed. I wanted to go and challenge the guy. My wife pulled me back. What's to fight? I can't fight. I'm not a ruffian. But I want to ask a question. Why did you stop me not to go inside? My wife said, well, just forget about that. We didn't come here for that. But that was bad. What makes you think that we're not equal? So those are the things that I want to really talk. I don't know, maybe somebody has something to say, but before that, anyone that is silent is an abuse. We want our children to grow old. We want them to leave. We want better education for them. We want equal access to opportunities. We want them to breathe in the God-given oxygen that God gives everybody. We want everybody to live a life of decency and humanity. That's what we want. That's what we want. I feel connected to everyone. More so to my African American brothers who have been really, because if I don't speak, maybe you will not know that I'm not African American. Then my accent will tell you I'm not. But if I just stand somewhere, I enter the store, I wear the hoodie, I do all kinds, I put my hands in my pocket, what kind of view would you have about me? I've been discriminated against over and over and over, not as an African American, but also even as an African. Oh my God, many times, many million times. When will this stop? Is that what we're after? Are we after stopping it? Or we want to say, yes, we know it's there. But how can we maneuver within the system until God maybe brings in deliverance. Because I know the children of Israel, they were really discriminated against when they were in Egypt. And they survived for 430 years. Yes, there must have been killing. They killed some of their boys. That's after that. That's after. And I know that. But then they survived. A generation rose up that really, that really put all those things down, and it was a show off. So that should be, to me, our focus. That you are in a school, a college, white predominantly, school or black, even if you're even in a, you're in a black predominant school and you're white, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. The same thing has to really happen. I was told that the guy that shot this the church, that killed almost about 9 worshipers in the church about 2-3 years ago. The police, when they got him, he was online. They bought him a sandwich in Burger King. They bought him sandwich. If we harness our focus on developing the Black community, on helping our brothers and sisters who have been terribly relegated and pushed down over decades upon decades. And we know they can survive. If I can come here and survive, Danielle, if she can survive where she is, if you can survive, I think we need to begin to redirect and reinform ourselves and every other person that there's room for us. There's room for us. There's room for us when the foundation is level for everybody. Educational opportunities, community development, everything is level. You see that everybody will come out. Many great things that African American has been doing. Somebody said something the other time that some of the development that we have in this nation are to be even accredited to Africans who African American who had to do a whole lot of things, the cotton and the slavery and all of those things that happened. So you can imagine when you take them out of the equation, I think about 40 million African American who are minority live in the United States. 40 million. 40 million in the United States. And we can't just let one niche or one person give us a representation of the kind of lifestyle or what is expected of all African Americans in the entire nation. So I don't know, maybe folks have questions that we need to deal with, but that is where I think we stand against nepotism, and fears, distrust, and we ask a question on the fly: what's the way forward? We need to clarify that so that this time is not wasted, so that it's not just, which is important, expressing our hunger, our fears. I don't just want it to be that we just come in, okay, I'm going to express my fear. No. So which way forward? Are we going to say, okay, well, freedom, I want freedom, but the freedom, is it available now? Is the freedom available for you now? Has the fear gone? So if you don't still have it, what do you want to do? You're pulled over by a cop. Is it police brutality or a white cop or a black cop? How do you want to end up not losing your life? Are you supposed to do the normal thing you're supposed to do, or even go down more, like not talking, not arguing, not fighting, not talking back, just to save your life for tomorrow? To save your life. To walk within the system. Nicole, thank you that you call. Your name means overcomer. You overcome in Jesus' name. To save your life. To deliver yourself. Or you're going to just like, okay, yeah, it's today. And then just die. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, in Atlanta on Friday, another black man was killed who was parking at the driveway of one restaurant, and I think he slept there, and all kinds of things happened. They tried to taser him, and he was kind of struggling, and the police shot him. He died and it was a struggle. I am overwhelmed by those news. I'm overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed to the intent that what you cannot do to a dog and you will end up with years in jail are being done to human beings that God created in his own image and likeness. And nobody is changing anything. Nobody is being held responsible for anything. Somebody had said, I don't know, maybe it's Elisha, who said that if that video is not really the video from those who are observing, if it's not synced, that's the way we're going to bury it. The young man that died in Atlanta because he was jogging, the video surfaced after weeks. Nothing will have been done. Oh, Jesus. What other news are we going to hear next week? Which one are we waiting for after summer is over? Can you be saved if you are pulled over and you are the only one driving in the car by white cops? That is what I want us to talk about. Which way forward? How do we deal with fear? Emotional fear. It's there. The young lady said in Frostburg, he said, you think that thing is not there? She's there. Psychologically disturbed and meandered. How are we going to deal with that? How do we go forward? How do we operate within the system is built like this? I told you about the story of Christopher Columbus to kind of substantiate what I'm saying. It's not about one thing we're going to change. Yeah, it's good. We're going to make up. But Martin Luther era, they made their voice to be heard. Where was the man today? What would be his birthday today? Those are the people that we are really working on their sacrifice. But I want us to be meaningful. I want to say horse. I want us to be directional. I want us to be wise as far as God is concerned. What is the benefit behind just our voice, just the riot, just the destruction? What do we gain from that? Oh yeah, we're going to get the attention. That's what anybody would do. The women that were speaking out, where was the move today? At the inauguration of President Donald Trump, where are all those? What's the balance that has to be stricken out? This is deep. So I do not want to go into that. So if somebody can, anybody that has anything to say, and we make it brief because so many things are going on. We're in the midst of coronavirus. People are dying. And some of the pictures that they showed us were different from what they sent to us from the world. Places like Asia, places like Africa, the picture that was sent to us about the people that died and the things that happened, they were pretty much different from what we watched. I literally saw it. I can show you. I can watch it twice. A car just moving. I thought it was a police car that was really just crushing people. A lot of deaths. So a few questions, and then I'm done. You can continue what you want to do. Okay, I think, yeah. So anybody wants to say one or two things, and yeah. So before we just begin to round up, please, is open.
So if anyone have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat.
Thank you so much. Another thing I want us to know that this that we are seeing now has its root in the realm of the spirit. That's why I say, how are we dealing with this thing? It's a spiritual pandemic. And until we can deal with it from the realm of the spirit, through that is survival, you guys call it survival for the fittest, through real prayer, systematic prayer, consistent prayer. On our side, that's what's going to make us to be an overcomer. That's the way we deal with this issue. It's a spiritual thing. Racism is of the devil. Wherever culture, nation is not of God. Principal Scott quoted the scripture. Greek, Jew, white, black, none of that. Do we have racism in the church? Is this a reflection of what's going on in the church? You are many of you are millennials, many are Generation Z or whatever it is. You're a new generation, a curious generation. How do we deal with this from the root? And while dealing with it, how do we survive? How do we survive in the midst of it? Not that we are quiet about it. How do we survive? Please, couple questions. Let's close. And one of yours, thank God for everybody, and thought-provoking, insightful, engaging questions. All the panelists, we're really very grateful. It's really released a lot of hidden things to light. We thank God for Pastor Sarah and those who anchored this program. We're really very, very grateful that everybody can just come to term. And this is in the spirit of unity. And I want us to just, we're going to round up. We're going to round up on at least one or two things that, okay, during this discussion, I'm able to know that this is the way I'll go forward so that we know that we have a trajectory. We're not just here and there and everybody just, how has this forum make us better? Outlook on my fellow white brother or sister, outlook on my community, outlook on my black brothers and sisters, Black Lives Matters, and all of these things, police brutality. It's a whole lot of things we're dealing with. Are you talking about white police, the way they treat blacks? Are you talking about the black police, the way they treat black? Are you talking about police in general? Are you talking about elements inside police force? Good people are there. But what impression do you want? I'm driving with my children. I'm driving my children and we are pulled over. How would my children be feeling with all the news they've had, the things they've seen? It's about, I'm coming from a meeting. It's about 2 a.m. and early in the morning. I'm coming from a meeting and we're all in the car. We are not drunk. I'm a Christian. We're coming from a Christian concert. We're coming from a church and we pulled over. And maybe we're just 5 miles above speed limits. How do you want me to talk to them? What are they feeling? What are they going through in their hearts? How do you want me to feel when my son goes out and say he wants to go and buy something, he wants to go for a meeting, and he's driving? Brothers and sisters, help me out. How do you want me to talk to them? You're going to tell me that what? No. Or what do you want me to tell them? This is the current situation we're facing right now. And if this is your country, you better know what to do. Except if you have another country to run to. And let me tell you something. You can think that it's only here. It's all around the place. All around the place. All around the place. So, couple questions. All right. Thank you so much. Question from Callum asked a question. What's the first step towards healing from the trauma caused from what we have seen in the Black community? And I thank you so much, Callum. I think the first thing is for you to know that Jesus is love, no matter what. And hate is the enemy of love. See, we're talking about how to survive in this situation, not how to add wood to fire. We're not adding wood to fire. This is what we have. This is what's going on. There's nothing like, you can't deny it. You can't deny it. You can't go to the White House or go to the legislative arm and say you want to change it. You can't do that for now. Maybe in the future, God is going to help you to get there. But from what we have right now, you know one thing? Love. Grace to love those who hate you. You need that. Trauma, you're wounded, you're disturbed, but you still know that you have the love of God in your heart. And that gives you a sense of boldness when you see a cop or when you are maltreated. Just love. Doesn't mean that you don't document things. Doesn't mean that you put justice behind the scene. You still have to document things, video, whatever it is. For example, some might be aggravated because you are recording what's going on. You have the right to record anything that happens. But a lot of people have been shocked because they were trying to record it. So I think the love of God, prayer, knowing that you have angels all around you, knowing that God is going to take care of you, knowing that the one that is with you is greater, knowing that God is going to keep you no matter what, knowing that, we're in the world where Satan is God and he has put it in the hearts of man, many to just be hateful and whatever be bad and think they are greater, but you know that your God is beside and he's going to really see you through. Daniel gave us a very good example about that. So I think that's where we all need to come from. We cannot all just be fighting hate with hate, darkness with darkness, chaos with chaos. We can't do that. We have to be different. Maybe that will even send a signal to that hateful person that's maltreating you. Some boys went down to their apartment or their office place to use the gym. They met a white man there. It was recorded, I think maybe in their company or whatever. And the white dude said, he's going to call the cops on them. They said, well, listen, we walk here? How can we have the code to enter? And it turned to something else. A lot of people are going through such emotional trauma. A lot. What can we do? We Christians. That's why we're different. Thank God for your son, so ministering, so inspiring. That's why we're different. So, love of God. I think that's it. Johnny already asked a question. How do we educate one another that this shift is not merely a trend and that this is something that exists daily? Well, all of us have to jump in. To be silent about it is to be a part of it. We all have to jump in. We all have to, in the days when that event happened. Can all of us just? I'm just imagining. All the phones jammed. Everybody called 911 on the cop. You call the cop on the cop. You have to speak. And everybody document what they see. This is 8 minutes. 8 minutes. And maybe by miracles, a cop will show up in 3 minutes or 4. We don't know. We don't know. We all need to stand up for one another. You are passing by and you see somebody you don't know what's going on. You have your phones. That's your brother. I'm not saying that we should encourage and, put a stamp on evil doings or destructive attitude or just like some wickedness, like, those bad stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. But just for record purposes, I think that's one thing we need to do, and to support one another, not just blacks. Please support your brother. Don't let this skin color just be an empowerment from us to relating one another. Have we forgotten that God has given us an assignment to evangelize the world? Have we forgotten that God has given us a ministry? All of you have a ministry of reconciliation. We must not forget about that. So are you now going to tell me there's no way I can preach the gospel to my white brother or my white police or this and that because of things that have happened? No, God is the judge. God is the judge. And whether tomorrow, God knows how to mete out judgment to those who will not treat each other equally. God knows what he's doing. Man is man, but God is not man. He knows what to do. So I think that's sorting that out. What should we say to other believers who are against protesting? Now, protesting is not bad, but what's the result of the protest? So protesting is to make our voice known. It's good. But what will be the result? I think we need to just be result-oriented. Be result-oriented. How many of us do vote? We don't vote. Do we vote? Do we know the beliefs and the agenda of our candidates? Do we know what they want to do? Do we know their policies? Do we know where they stand? Are we really interested? I think God is waking up a new generation. Some of the older generation think that this is just those days. These are not those days. the new generation that are rising up right now. And that's why you see that everything is mixed up. White and black and Hispanic and Asian. Everybody's just like, you know, one thing, something needed to be done. Something needed to be done. Needed to be done. So I might not be able to answer that in details, but that's just the best way I can do it. Alongside prayer, is there anything we as the church can do? Unify. Let me tell you something. We are the light of the world. We are the expression of what is going on the inside. Righteousness exalt a nation. Righteousness exalt a nation. We, the church, we are divided. Look at the way the young man minister in music. Who cares which church he goes to? Who cares whether he believes in speaking in tongues or he believes in what? Who cares about that? All I want to do is I want him to get to heaven, rejoicing with Jesus, be a blessing. See, so many things have divided us. I'm Baptist, I'm Catholic, I'm Pentecost. Why would we have racism even in the nation? When Sunday is the most segregated time in the world. I want to ask you this question. What are you going to say with Obama becoming the president, a black man? How do you think our white folk see that? How do they receive that? But that's it. That's some. So the church needs to deal with the internal religion racism, pastor against pastor, denomination against denomination, and doctrinal differences and all of that, and come to terms. I think the church has a lot of impact on what to do, so that might be one thing. So in your school, anywhere you are, in your country, in your locality, please make this known. Hey, you're my brother, you're my sister, and we're working together. There shouldn't be any reason for, going into details of this and that, and we need to respect one another. We have to respect one another. You got to respect somebody else's culture, respect somebody else's belief. If it doesn't contradict the Bible, just go. They were not brought up the way you were brought up. They were not trained the way you were trained. Many of you that I'm talking to right now, you're majorly hybrids. Some African parent, but you are not African. You are American. And some European, and you're not just European. You're mixed. The young man is mulatto. That's a mixed parents. So that's an hybrid. So whenever he's with the white parents, he has to really adapt. Whenever he's with the black parent, he has to really adapt. So you can't use that to judge anybody. Everybody has different upbringing. So the way Asians do their things, you don't go there to enforce the way you do your thing when you are in the midst of Asian. They're different. We have to learn to respect one another, respect and honor, and just respect somebody else's belief system. Even if you don't believe the way you want to believe, live and let live. We got a lot of things to do with our life. Your future is great. God is going to do something mighty in your life. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can wound you. Just live and let others live. If you don't like them, leave them alone and go forward. Go forward. Leave them alone. A police stop you. Okay. Prodigal. Mock trial. Good evening. It's night. Can I have your registration, please? Yes, sir. Why did you say yes, sir? You want to leave. You don't know, maybe the guy is messed up, he's just drunk, or he's on drug, I don't know, he's bewitched. I don't know. You need to get out of that situation. You know that. You don't have any questionable character or whatever it is. Okay, so come out and you are told. You're not trying to put in your hand. You call your mom or dad on the phone, they're all hearing it, or you have a video, wherever it is you're recording. And then you're respectful. God bless you, sir. I hope everything is fine. Okay, you are doing this and that. Appear at court, wherever it is. Oh, thank you, sir. God bless. You have to save. You save your life. Rather than argue. Why are you arguing? You are arguing because you are drunk yourself too. You are arguing because you are still nursing the way we were treated, that you refuse to personally let go so you and your family can go forward. This has happened. I know it has happened. We are collective. This is a collective. It's a collective relationship. So we know. But in that situation now, nobody's there. You are the only one in the car with the cup. A soft answer turneth away wrath. That's what my Bible says. When you are soft in responding, it's wisdom. Sometimes you being a fool is wise. You don't have to argue there. That's not a court. You are the only one in the car with them. Be quiet and talk nicely, or else you'll be gone. You're going to be added to the list. When you get out there, when you get back home or you get to the court, whatever, then you can talk. Please. This is extremely very important. What is the best way to explain to people that Christianity is not a white man's religion? Well, you need to know who depicted God or Jesus as white man and who depicted Satan as black man. Go do your research. I know Jesus has a Jewish cultural background. He came through the Jews, and that's fine. But somebody literally says, the devil, anytime you see the picture of the devil is black and white. And that's another issue. You need to let people know that Jesus died for all and he came for all. He bled for all. Moses apparently married an Ethiopian woman. We all know the story. We know that the wives of the women that give birth to the patriarchs, starting from Reuben through Benjamin, they all come from different kind of background, except for Rachel and Leah, who came from Jewish background. The other ladies came from maybe Egypt, or they were slaves, they were maidservants. So, and the root of slavery or the roots of racial discrimination has been there for a long, long time, right from the time that Adam was cast out of the garden. So don't forget about that. So let everybody know that Jesus is for all. Is for all. And also ourselves too. We must not be divided within ourselves. Please, I'd like you to judge. If you are having a meeting, a school meeting, 100% meeting, and fortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, all of you, you're men and women of color, and two white folk came in, beg your pardon, how do you want them to feel? Would you open up and make them feel welcome and know that we are not like that, and give them extraordinary treatment? And I think we are good on that. I mean, I know a lot of people here on this platform that are very good on that. Not because they are parochial or they are prejudiced. They just want to treat everybody nicely, especially the most vulnerable at that point in time, the marginalized. So if they are white, I know there are people here that want to treat those two people specially and wonderfully. That's the way it has to be. That's the way it has to be. So I think that answers your question. How can we use the part of platform God has given us to promote change? That's what we're doing right now. Any meeting you can do, any discussion, go beyond, get out of your bubble. I'm not talking about not following the pandemic requirement. Get out of your bubble. Why do you only have friends who are just men from your fill in the gap? All your friends, all your associates, they are just men from, be mixed. Expose yourself. Learn to live with other people so you will not have a cultural shock or tribal shock or a racist kind of shock. It's a shock. It's going to be a shock to you. When one day you find yourself walking in the midst of white professionals and you are the only black there, you will know how to navigate yourself. So right now, wherever you are, give yourself or your children that opportunity to operate under tough conditions with different kind of racial background, right? Danielle, you're going to a school that I believe is predominantly white, and you're a woman of color, but then you can survive. And I know that many things would have happened. But yeah, you're there. God being on your side. It's really due because it's so hard. Okay, thank you. Many African Americans teach their children how to respond to racism based on their own experiences. That is what I'm talking about. That's the niche I'm talking about. But for parents that have recently migrated from Africa, Caribbean, that are not used to racism, how should you teach their children to respond to racial injustice? Don't forget also that there are several injustices that look like, that replicate, or that have mutated into this problem that we have here. In some other country, it's a whole lot of stuff going on. So you need to let people, people have to stay balanced. Stay balanced. The key word, everybody's the same in the eyes of God. Everyone is the same in the sight of God. It starts from you, the way you treat them, the way you relate to them. From my little experience, this is it. I might be wrong, but please correct me. I might be wrong. The white, they are not threatened by diaspora people, because like our Asian brothers, we have some dignity of, subjugation, and we take it nicely. We have a history of respect. We've been through hell from where we're coming from. So any little thing we are given here, even if we are discriminated against, we suck it in because we don't ask questions. I've been terribly discriminated against. And in the midst of that, I was thanking God. I didn't know that was discrimination. I was thanking God. I wish I've known what I know right now. I mean, my billions will have been here. But I did not know. They took advantage of me. In the midst of that, I was still saying thank you, loving them. So they don't feel threatened especially when they hear your accent. That's what I think. And not for everybody. They'll think, okay, you know what, this one is slow. That's what I think, because that's the way I was treated. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure. But if it's an African American, the thing will switch. It will switch. And my brothers and sisters and my sons and daughters on this platform, if you can begin to learn how to speak another language, I think it will be very, very useful. You might think you don't need it now, but let me say this to you, and I'm going to reiterate this. What has started going on right now is not going to solve this problem. It's going to really hard to eat. When you punch the devil on the face and you are not spiritual about it, the devil will automatically react. So, you might be in the car, you'll be able to relate to your children and say, pick up the phone. You don't have to say that in English. That's a gift God has given unto you. Well, sir, I think you said that we should. No, you need that. That's a tool now. It's a tool to survive. It's a tool to survive. Because if you're in the midst of two Chinese folk and two Hispanic folk, your family, and they're talking, and that guy comes to fix your stuff and he didn't do it well, and you're trying to tell him he didn't do it well, now you call him to come and fix it, he had English. By the time you're telling him that you didn't do this thing well, now he's going to be telling you, no English, no English, no English, no English. What are you going to do? So the police has to call, when I tell him no English, no English. He has to call somebody to come and tell me what I need. I need it for survival. I need someone in the car to quickly let me do something. I communicate. I need mene tekel passing. So it's a blessing. Multilingual is a blessing. I don't know why our parents, I'm asking your question, Amida. Our parents think that, just English. We have to know. When the English people are trying to learn in Arabs, when they are learning other language, they are learning French, they are learning Spanish. It's in the curriculum in school. And we don't value the gift God has given to us, and we just diminish and destroy it, and won't expose our children to be able to speak other language. It's a gift. It's a gift. Our African American brothers have to rise up. They have to rise up to doing exploit, multilingual, exposure. We have to begin to really be helpful, accommodating, accept them, see how we can help them. It's very, very important. The first thing first impression, somebody will catch of me, glimpse, when they see me. If I didn't talk, first impression, I'm African American. And I like that. Why? Because you trace them when you trace them to us. That's why I feel so touched. Maybe it's the blood that is talking. Maybe the reason why I'm doing all these things is because the blood is connecting. It's connected. And I'm not kind of cynical about this. Everybody, I love everybody. But you know, when you see your family, that family thing, it's very important. It's very important. Should we be teaching our children African American history? Now, explaining the lies that are taught in textbook regarding that, I love this question a lot. I love this question a lot. This is where the problem is. The wrong teaching and the things we are getting out of it. This is where the problem is. My brothers and sisters, I don't know about you. Anytime is Black History Month, I don't want to be a part of it too much because I feel offended inside. And I want to get to heaven. I don't want to begin to hate people. I feel upset. The movies, I can't watch it for long. I'll be in tears. It happened. It was true. But does it look like past? Should we forget the things behind and go forward? I think that really helped Obama. That really helped Obama. What was it our parents were talking? They were telling us things that happened about 100 years ago. It's still fresh in our memory. We're still carrying the scar, opening up the scar. It's very disturbing. What can I hide or maybe tell my children that was past? It's not past for them because they're seeing it right now. They have a reference point. So teach the children about African American history and teach them also redemption. That is not there. Forgiveness, forgetting things behind. Let them know that we serve a God of justice. We serve a God that forgives. You know, the Confederate nation and all the statues of those great guys that people really, honor. Tell them, worry. I read about Christopher Columbus. I mean, everybody thought, oh my God, yeah, he did it. But a lot of atrocities went on. The guy's dead. I don't know where he's at. Now he's dead. Are you going to be now going through the pain that he left behind? No, that's gone. So this happened. Martin Luther, this happened to these people. They did this, they did that. But you know one thing? We're going to go for. And I think that even to change this thing, we need to go back to our curriculum, what we are teaching. Like the ambassador said, when he was in the white predominant high school, the way he feels, we need to go back there and make sure it's not only about exposing or talking or showing grievances. I know we're honoring, we're doing all of that, but yeah. A lot of people felt bad that we have a Black president and they try to undermine so many things up till today. So be healed. Look at it from the perspective of Joseph and his brothers. Joseph said, hey guys, forget about it. We don't need to talk about this stuff anymore. You meant it for bad, but God meant it for good. Let's go forward, please. Let's talk about it anymore. And Joseph fulfilled his destiny. Now, for Joseph to now get there and say, okay, you guys, I remember what you did. Oh, you remember? You put me in the pit. No, I'm going to fight back. Now, let me mobilize. Egyptian, fight these guys for me. Man, let's do it the way the world wants us to do it. At least, I know that the percentage of people on this platform right now is very tiny. But you can make an influence when you get to school, when you begin to hold your meeting. I will be very surprised. Some people will say concerned. I don't use that word. I'll be very surprised if in your meetings, you only have men of color. You don't have it like diverse. I'll be very surprised. We have to break all those norms. What you don't want God to do for you, what you don't want somebody else to do for you, or people in authority or whatever, you don't do it to other people. Let's be nice to everybody. And he shall be well with us. Now that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Support one another. Thank you. So yeah, thank God for all the response. Yes, somebody has said, yeah, Callum said we can protest just out of anger, or because it's a trend of guilt. It has to see change. That's a very beautiful thought. Not just out of anger. Yeah, we do it anger, but then there must be a goal that after the protest, something really come out of it. That's what I want us to do. What is the best way to explain to people that Christian, okay, we've dealt with that. And then, yeah. So, but my thing that I also want to say, thank you so much for that scripture. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Beautiful scripture from Revelations. I see a great multitude that no one could number from every nation. That is what it should be. We got to break all those cycles. Got to break it. Meeting with the family of Daniel. They took us like their family. But everybody received us. Everybody. I know everybody's name. Everybody received. We were like their family. And they know where I came from. They open up everything. I visit everybody. That's the way it should be. They don't treat me like, okay, this guy come Africa somewhere, whatever. We were to pastor the church. That was what they did. Gave us, okay, this is the pastor's house. If you want to move, when are you moving in? When are you moving in? We just want you. It was just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. Beautiful people. So that's the way we should treat one another. I don't want you to start with this hatred. I don't want you to have this what. Go and find the truth yourself. Please don't poison your children and begin to tell, no, he's a white guy. Don't work with him. He's a white. No, okay, he's a white person. Don't work. No, that's where it starts from. That's where it starts from. That's where it starts from. A lot of things we have told our children. A lot of things we were told. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. That's the reason why we can't get a job. That's the reason why we can't get to those offices, because they told us to be careful. When you're working at a place, as a corporate place, can you be free with everybody and don't always think that they hate you because of your skin? Are you having integrity? Do you come to work early? Are you communicating with people? Do you have high level of social skills? It's not about just the job that matters. Or you already have some idiosyncrasies within you that says, oh, there's something I do. I know it's because I'm black. That's why they are reacting to me that way. That won't give you boldness. We need to deal with all that. I think we should stop here. I want to thank God for everybody. And I'm going to call, because I think we're done with everything. So now let me say this so that we can know that we grab something before we all leave. So we need to all know that it's about uprooting the foundation through prayer, through our own lifestyle, uprooting the foundation and communicating, coming together as one, and doing what natural people or normal people won't do in terms of how humble we are, how we want to listen to people. Of course, in every organization, there are always bad people there. But we can't, because of that bad people, think that everybody's just like that. The police, a whole lot of them are still good. And we are very thankful that we're living in an orderly fashion country. There are nations that I've been to that the police, you don't want to talk about it. But we thank God. We thank God. In all things, we should give thanks. We've been praying for our nation, for the United States, since 1989. We've not stopped praying. We're still praying for the government. We know what God is going to. God is going to do His will. In terms of whoever is there, I don't have to like him. I have to pray for him because I need the blessing. And God knows what he's doing. We have to pray regarding the election. We have to vote. We have to pray. And we have to know why we should vote, who we want to vote for. Some people, is it your vote they need that they are being nice to you right now? We don't know. Just pray for the will of God to be done. Christian unity is a core value for all of us. Guys, let's come together. Let's fight the enemy. Don't let's become the enemy. Don't let's become enemy of ourselves. Let's come together with different background, color, skin, anywhere. All kinds of platform. Help somebody else. When you see an opportunity open up for someone, let them know about it. It really does. Any nation, any country, come on. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Don't let's live like the traditional generation, the X generation. This is a new generation. Come on, rise up. Forget about the bias. Oh, you can't marry her. You can't marry her. Why? Because she's white or because she's black. Forget about that. As long as she's human and that's the will of God for you. Forget about all that. Christian unity. We are the body of Christ on this earth. We have to stand with everyone, especially with our African American brethren. They need us right now. That's why Black Lives Matters. They really need us. They are wounded. They are hurt. Things have happened. We respect dogs more than we respect our African American brothers. We prefer they die than for dogs to die. They need us. And you better do something you can do so that when you too need God, God can step up for you. They need us. And they don't just need us, the nations also need you. About 2 days ago, Haiti people worshiping their God in the church were blown up by Muslim extremists in Nigeria. Christian lives matter. Thank you for your clap. Thank you for your clap. I can see your hand. Christian lives also matters. Please, we need you too. I'm speaking on the behalf of the voiceless. I'm speaking on the behalf of those who doesn't have a voice, who have died for the freedom of religion that you are taking for granted. You will go to church, you will do whatever you want to do. They are blown up in church. Church building is a place where they die. This thing is across the board, everywhere. So it's time for the Redeemer to come back. We need Jesus. The signs of the end time are here. Reprogram everything that has been packaged into the mind of your children. Don't let them be fearful. Fear is evil. Anything you are afraid of will come. Preach love. Tell them about love. Tell them about God who embraces all. When they grow, they will deal with this situation under the perspective of love and not of hate. Many of us, there is a seed of hatred in us. I won't blame you. It was because of what we see, what we are told. It's time to reprogram ourselves and know that perfect love, it casts out all fear. And there is no fear in love. And there is nothing you can do against love but for love. God bless you. God make his face to shine upon you. All of us, we're going to make it. All of us, we have a future. Our future shall be great. We are going forward. Like our sister said, I don't know what situation, what circumstances you find yourself, predominantly white, predominantly black, predominantly African. Please, you are there to manifest love. Love. God is love. God has children who are also love. How do you prove love? You prove love when people hate you. You don't prove love when people love you. You've already countered it. I can't say I love you because you love me. There's no way to measure it. How do you know I love you? When you don't deserve my love. Peace out.